We welcome you to the Spring General Faculty Meeting at Marshall University. If you will please rise for the singing of the Star Spangled Banner, Ms. Kristen Pino.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the brave and the home of the
Kristen has a class. Some of our faculty have classes as well, so that's why they're not here. So she's off to class. I now call to the podium Brandy Jacob Jones, representing the city of Huntington, and she is a former student body president here at Marshall and a graduate. Brandy.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm here actually on behalf of Mayor David Fellington to read a proclamation on behalf of a wonderful servant leader, and it truly is a pleasure to do this this day. Office of the Mayor Proclamation, whereas from 33 years, Dr. Sarah Newman Denman has been synonymous with Marshall University and the Marshall Community and Technical College. And whereas throughout her years with Marshall, Dr. Denman has undertaken many roles with enthusiasm. Her present roles are Provost, a position she has held for 12 years, and Vice President for Academic Affairs, responsible for supervising all university-instructed programs and assisting in academic planning in all those units. She also works with the deans on matters of faculty appointments, faculty development promotions, salaries, curricula, instructional budgets, and academic advising and testing, as well as serving on various boards connected to Marshall. And whereas in addition to her service at Marshall, Dr. Denman is the president of the Cabell Huntington Hospital Foundation Board, secretary of the Hospice Board of Directors, and a trustee of the Huntington Museum of Art, to name a few of her extracurricular activities. And she is tireless in her efforts to give back to her community. And whereas Dr. Denman has announced her plans to retire in the spring, and it is my pleasure to participate in today's celebration to honor and commend her outstanding accomplishments at Marshall and acknowledge her abilities as a great advocate for our community. Now, therefore, I, David Fellington, Mayor of the City of Huntington, Cabell, and Wayne Counties, do hereby proclaim Tuesday, the 29th of April, 2008, to be Dr. Sarah Newman Denman Day in the city of Huntington. People, businesses, organizations, and institutions to join in honoring this distinguished citizen. In witness thereof, I hereunto set my hand and cause the great seal of the city of Huntington to be affixed this 29th day of April in the year of 2008. David Fellington, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Now we know what day it is. It's my pleasure to introduce the president of Marshall University, Dr. Stephen Kopp.
Thank you, Larry, and good afternoon, everyone. To our 17 retiring faculty members, thank you for your dedication and service to Marshall University. Combined, you amassed close to 550 years of academic service to this university, and we will forever be grateful to you for all you have done and contributed, especially on behalf and for the benefit of our students, actually generations of our students. We wish each of you continued health and happiness in the many years to come during your well-earned retirement years. To our award winners today, congratulations. I've read the bios and read the background. You are truly deserving of the awards, and I congratulate you for it. Larry told me I have 10 minutes, and I think I'm down to 9 minutes, so I'm going to kind of accelerate things a little bit. We are going to post progress reports on the website concerning all the signature initiatives in the coming weeks. I hope you'll take some time to look through those. They'll be hyperlinked, and you can plow through and dig into them as deeply as you want to learn more about some of the things that have been happening that perhaps missed your attention during the year. But I think it's safe to say that the year 2007-2008 academic year has been a year where there's a multitude of distinctive milestones that have been achieved, and these milestones have touched every facet of the university in very significant ways. We are making a lot of progress, but there's still a lot of progress yet to be made, and I commend all of you here in the room and those who are not here for all of your hard work during this last academic year. Included among some of these achievements are statewide and national recognitions of students and faculty, as well as units and programs here at the university. We've had a number of successful specialized accreditation visits, some of them for the first time. The establishment of new majors and new academic program development are also important, and we've had a number of those. And I would be remiss if I did not commend the General Education Core Foundations committees, there have been 2 of them, for their hard work and diligence and the progress they've made throughout this year and over last summer in terms of moving forward the Core Foundations concepts. And we're actually going to see some of those in action this next fall. And I certainly commend all the members of the committee for their hard work and their dedication. As you look around the campus today, you'll see over $100 million of new construction taking place across the campus. Perhaps the most significant part of that dollar amount is that there are no state or federal dollars involved. They are either the result of a public-private venture or private contributions that are making these projects happen. We could not do this without the dedication and support of the foundation. The Marshall University Foundation has been very, very committed to these projects. They understand the importance to the future of this university, and I appreciate all they've done and all their hard work, as well as those of us in the university. The new women's softball complex was dedicated on March 15th. And if you haven't had a chance to go over there and walk around, the clubhouse facility and office areas are not quite finished. They won't be finished till June, but it is truly a beautiful facility and will serve our women's softball team for many years to come. The Living Learning Residence Halls, there are 2 of them, will be open in August of this fall in 2008. The Engineering Laboratory Facility, which is under construction, will be open again in August, time for this fall. Student Recreation Center will be open in February, March. We're still pushing the envelope on trying to get a February open date for that in 2009. We're making progress. We're continuing to work ahead. Weather has been a problem on that project. We've had an awful lot of rain. Hopefully we're going to get into a dry period here where they can lay all of the steel and get that all in place, and we can begin moving the project forward. There is going to be a forensic science annex built to our current forensic science building, and that construction contract has been issued through competitive bid process. And then the Alumni Foundation Center, that construction contract has also been issued, and we will hopefully begin to start seeing some progress across the street from Corbally Hall. There are a number of legislative successes, and I'll highlight this on the web so you can kind of drill into these bills that were passed this past year that affected higher education. I still feel that the single most important bill that was passed this year was the West Virginia Research Trust Fund bill. We are working very hard to raise the $15 million in private gift money that will match the $15 million in state funds. I think it's important for everybody here to realize that if West Virginia University does not match their amount, we have access to whatever goes unmatched at West Virginia University. So our target goal is $20 million. And as I shared with you some time ago when we talked about this idea for establishing an interdisciplinary research institute and not put it on the backs of departments and faculty and staff and the university, this is what this bill is going to do for this university. We are going to be able to bring in research scientists who will lead and work with our current faculty who are very research active to accelerate and intensify the type of discovery-based research that leads to new patent discoveries and commercialization efforts. John Marr, who came on board as Vice President for Research, is very, very familiar with how to do this and do it well. And John is the right man at the right time to lead our research efforts. So I'm very pleased he's on board. Everything that's happened this year is helping to reframe, if you will, the conversations about this university and the fact that this university is becoming increasingly a more distinguished and more distinguished regional university. We still have a lot of work to do, and I think one of the challenges I'd like to present to everyone here today is to begin to think about change and how we accelerate change and what's best for the university and how we get more people engaged actively in this process. An accomplishment I have not yet mentioned, but I think it's a very significant one for the university, was the renovation of Memorial Fountain. In many ways, this project and the way we went about accomplishing it is characteristic of the approach taken by this administration in working with people across the university to lead change and involve others in idea generation and the development of plans to accomplish our goals. This project serves as a metaphor in many ways for how we consider change and how we approach it. Having the courage to consider something new and different is not easy. We could have left the fountain as it was, a cement surface with a pool painted like a swimming pool. James Morris Smith raised the question in a conversation I had with him one day, why leave it as it is? Why not renovate the Memorial Fountain as the artist had originally intended it, with a granite facing befitting a true Memorial Fountain centerpiece for this campus? The rest is history. Raising the question in this conversation was very, very important to taking the first step of getting a group of people together, including members of the families that lost relatives and dear ones, as well as Dean Don Van Horn and others across the campus, to sit down and ask the fundamental question: how do we improve and how do we change the character of this fountain that's become a centerpiece on this campus without destroying what it means to all of us? The plan that they came up with is now the centerpiece you see over there. And if you have not taken time to go over and take a look at it, I encourage you to do it. It is absolutely befitting of what a memorial fountain should be. As a metaphor for what lies ahead, change, as I said, is not easy. But each of us has the capacity to take advantage of the extraordinary opportunities here at Marshall University. Similarly, we each bring a great deal to the table in addressing the daunting challenges that confront us. My experiences here and other places have pointed out to me that problem identifiers are plentiful here as they are elsewhere. They are the folks who are quick to point out the problems, but never seem to offer solutions nor accept responsibility for solving them. As we look around this campus, as we look ahead to the future, all of us need to become problem solvers, not just problem identifiers. Consider this address as a call to all idea generators and problem solvers in this university. You are needed, and we need you actively involved as we move forward. We are entering a crucial phase in the history of Marshall University, and we need your talents, and we need your time and commitment. Some of the challenges that lie ahead, and these are not new, I don't think. Enrollment continues to be a challenge for us in terms of growing enrollment to the level that I think all of us want to see, to do all of the things that we all want to do in terms of investing in people and programs. Freshman enrollment appears to be on the way to about a 2 to 3% increase this year, again an increase over last year, which was the first year we saw an increase in freshman enrollment in 5 years. However, there's a major shift taking place, and that shift is to greater non-resident student enrollment. Combining metro and non-resident students, we're approaching this fall 25% of our overall student body being non-resident students. We are seeing a continuation of a decline in market share here in the state of West Virginia. And it's not because we haven't been working very hard at it. It's just for a period of roughly 4 or 5 years, we didn't really have anybody in the field building relationships, stewarding relationships with counselors, teachers, and freshmen, sophomore, juniors, and seniors from the continuum from the freshman or 8th grade year on. It's taking time and will take time for us to restore those relationships and to reorient people to Marshall as a destination place for students here in West Virginia. Our recruiting staff is working very hard. I think they're very dedicated. They're doing a very good job. But we have years of neglect to overcome, and that will not turn around rapidly. One of the reasons we're seeing a very rapid turnaround or acceleration in non-resident enrollment is prior to 2 years ago, we were essentially doing no recruitment out of state. So it hasn't been terribly difficult to go out and acquaint people to Marshall University. And the Border State Scholarship Plan, which is a plan that offers a $3,800 scholarship to any non-resident student in a state bordering West Virginia that has a 23 ACT or SAT equivalent and a 2.75 high school GPA, gets the scholarship. To maintain the scholarship, they need to maintain a GPA of 2.0. We want them to stay and we want them to persist to degree completion. That program has been an unequivocal, resounding success. It's taken 2 years, however, for the states and students in the states to recognize that this wasn't just border counties of West Virginia in those states, it's the entire state population of students who are thinking about college that are eligible for this scholarship. Upcoming at the next board meeting, we're going to present a plan to establish what we're going to call the Appalachian Scholars Program. It's a program paralleling the Border State Scholarship, which would offer the same scholarship under the same considerations to any student in any state federally designated as an Appalachian state. What this does for us is opens the states of Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, and New York to a very competitive recruiting edge in terms of cost of attendance and opportunities here at Marshall. We already are establishing a very strong recruiting base in North Carolina. We already have a very strong alumni association in Georgia, and we believe Alabama is also a state where we have some great opportunities in addition to the states of New York and South Carolina. We are very serious about growing enrollment here at Marshall University. And for all of us who would like to see compensation improve for faculty and staff, this is the way it's going to have to improve. And so we're all working hard on this. I enlist your time and your support for this effort. Anything you can do to get the word out about Marshall University and encourage people, young people, to come here and study and pursue their college dream, please do so. An area that we're going to direct significant attention to in the coming months is the issue of tuition and fee waivers. Current estimates that we have, and we're still sifting through a great deal of data, are that approximately $11 million in student tuition and fees are waived annually here at Marshall University. Some of those fee waivers are fully justified. There is absolutely no question about it. Some of them are the result of habits of time where we started out with this approach and never went back to question whether it was necessary to continue to offer fee waivers for these programs. So we are going to go in and we are going to engage people and ask some very basic questions. If we are going to be able to do all of the things that we aspire to do, it requires monetary resources. How many fee waivers and at what dollar level is sufficient to do what we need to do educationally and enrollment-wise? And then how much of what we're doing just simply represents the habits of time, things that we've always done the same way for so long, and are unnecessary today because the quality and the caliber of the education we're providing is so vastly superior to when some of these programs started. These educational and academic programs have value. All of us need to embrace the notion that this is an outstanding, exceptional university that offers exceptional opportunity. That opportunity has value. And we need to assess that value and then rethink what we're doing. Another area that we're going to look at is faculty release time. We have an equivalent of over 60 full-time faculty positions on full-time release. The question is, how did those positions end up that way? Is it necessary to continue? Should we go back and review it? We may come to the conclusion that it's all fully justified, but it deserves an examination. We need to go into this with an open mind and look at every opportunity we have in this university to redirect current funding and future funding to where it's going to make the greatest difference and create the most value. And the most precious commodity we have in this university are our people. And I'm not satisfied with what we're doing right now in terms of compensation, but we've got to follow the plan that we've set out. We've got to increase enrollment. We've got to go back and study what we're doing and ask these tough questions, and then make critical decisions about what we're going to do in the future and how do we reinvest in our people and our programs to take this university from where it is today, an outstanding university, to a truly exceptional regional university with a regional footprint across all of Appalachia. I see that vision very vividly. I hope you share it. We are going to go through a period in a couple years, I predict, of very difficult budget times in the state of West Virginia. We have to position ourselves to be ready to absorb that and keep going forward. Everything that I've been working on here since I got here has been to try to reposition this university so that we can compete and compete successfully, and to keep this university moving forward and helping this university become everything it can be. I hope you'll take time when we send out the email blast to let you know that things are up on the web, the progress reports, all the things that have been happening. I hope you'll take time and look at those and provide us with some feedback. If you have any ideas, any thoughts, please share them. With that, I'll stand for any questions you might have. Do we have time for questions?
Yeah.
Okay. If anybody wants to know about my health, I'm doing great. Yes.
Why are we predicting difficult budget times for the state of West Virginia? We seem to be weathering the currents.
Why am I predicting difficult budget times for the state? If you begin to look and drill into the coal economy, the coal-based economy, if we can't diversify our economy, I think we're going to go up and down with, and we tend to be off cycle with the down cycles in other states. I think you have to look at the tonnage of new coal being mined as opposed to, and whether there's truly an increase or are the increases in tax revenues the result of increases in coal prices. And what we're seeing largely right now are increases in coal prices. And so when you begin to start looking at the economy of the state and beginning to look ahead a few years, I always, when it comes to predicting state economies, I tend to be pessimistic. I tend to be optimistic on all their frameworks, but I guard against being overly optimistic and expecting the state to continue to make more and more investments in base funds. So I want to have a plan that allows greater self-sufficiency for us in the event that something happens. If the state continues to progress the way they've been, and Governor Manchin's done a great job in terms of getting the state's financial house in order, and we're better positioned now than we might have been 5 years ago to weather some of this. But in the event that it happens, what I don't want to see is retrenchment here, that we go back to where we were 5 or 6 years ago. So a lot of this is beginning to forecast this, beginning to look ahead. One of the things that will happen by next spring, and I'm working very closely with Anita Lockridge and the other folks around the campus, we will have a 3-year budget plan. I am absolutely shocked 3 years into this at this university that we go year to year in budget planning, and all the budget planning is incremental. We don't go back and ask the tough questions about, are these things we can need to keep making investments in, or should we redirect these funds? So we will have a 3-year budget plan, and we will vet it just like we did things this year. Really literally opening it up for all the budget managers to participate in this process. And it'll be moved back in time earlier in the spring than what we started this year. We need your ideas and we need your input. And the budget process will be far more open than I think it's ever been before, as it should be. If there are no more questions, then thank you very much.
And feel free to email Dr. Kopp if you do have your questions. As Marshall University continues to make the transition from a teaching institution to a research institution, the progress is fraught with problems and pitfalls. Teaching 4 classes each semester and being asked, in addition to research, write, publish, and perform, new faculty as well as experienced faculty are reaching the breaking point. Marshall University has done so much with so little for so long that the faculty are reaching their limit. So that's why the question from the faculty on that is like, is there sunshine ahead? Also in this, I want to take time to say support the library. Okay, an institution of higher learning must have a library up to the research level that we are asking. I learned this week that we have a young, bright faculty member who will be leaving Marshall for an 80% increase in salary, a teaching load of 2 classes per semester, increased support for research, and a better budget. Please do look at the plaques in the lobby. Previous winners of our teaching awards that we'll be giving out today, and it scares me sometimes when I see how many of those faculty members I remember and have gone on to another institution. So we've got to do something to keep our faculty alive and well and moving ahead. So I do want to say that the faculty at Marshall University are outstanding teachers, brilliant researchers, innovative problem solvers, and will be tested, and deep critical thinkers. They are prepared to help the university meet the challenges of the future. And as always, that front line of education, that interaction between the faculty and the students, is still the foundation of the university. Thank you very much. We have some business to come. Starting on Monday, it's tentatively settled for Monday at 8 a.m. until Friday of next week at 8 p.m., you will have the opportunity as faculty members to vote on the resolutions that I'll go over with you here. Anytime we have a change in the Constitution, the faculty Constitution, that must be voted on by the entire faculty. Okay, so we have a resolution, Senate Resolution 61. There are many changes in this. But the biggest change, and this has been a problem, we just have not had a clear definition of faculty. And so we have one resolution here that would like to change Section 2 that presently reads, all faculty involved in apportionment calculations shall hold the rank of instructor or above and shall devote at least 1/2 of their time to teaching, scholarly research, or closely related duties. Eligible librarians shall hold a professional librarian's degree or the equivalent. All such faculty shall be eligible for election to office. Part-time faculty, adjunct faculty, and those designed as clinical or research in their faculty titles shall not be considered as faculty members for the purpose of this document and organization. For the purposes of determining voting and serving on the faculty senate, the above descriptions shall apply. those holding the titles of President, Vice President, Assistant Associate Vice President, Dean, Assistant Associate Dean, Director, Assistant Associate Director, and Dean of Libraries shall be ineligible to serve on the Faculty Senate. The Executive Committee of the Faculty Senate is empowered to decide questions that arise concerning definition of faculty. It is the recommendation of the Constitution Ad Hoc Committee that this paragraph be changed to, for the purposes of this Constitution, unless specifically stated otherwise, the word faculty means all full-time employees who have current faculty appointments, including library tract faculty, clinical faculty, associate deans, assistant deans, directors, associate directors, assistant directors, chairs, and term faculty. Faculty does not include deans, part-time faculty, adjunct faculty, and temporary faculty with one-year appointments. All faculty shall be eligible for election to office unless specifically stated otherwise in this Constitution. This definition of faculty shall be used for apportionment calculations for Faculty Senate representation. You also have a resolution that you will be voting on, and that is Senate Resolution 62, which then says that same paragraph I read to you would also say this: all faculty as defined in Section 2, with the exception of associate deans, assistant deans, and chairs, shall be eligible to serve on the Board of Governors, Advisory Council of Faculty, or the Faculty Senate. Rationale: exclusionary statement that defines those faculty members eligible to hold membership in faculty and university governance bodies, excluding from membership in such bodies those with significant administrative responsibilities. The Constitution Ad Hoc Committee was unable to reach a clear consensus on this statement and recommends that the issue be brought to a vote of the faculty. Okay? So the two resolutions, actually the biggest part of this is trying to define faculty. You have two choices there. Okay? So it's now time for the faculty themselves to make the decision and vote. Okay? Any questions about that? Okay, you'll be getting a notice for next week for email e-voting procedure. Okay. We have to, at this point, we want to introduce the new officers and members of the new Executive Committee. Elections are held every 2 years for the Senate now, and Dr. Camilla Brammer was elected chair, and she's also the COLA representative for the Executive Committee of Faculty Senate. The first 6 presidents of Faculty Senate were from College of Liberal Arts. It now returns to the College of Liberal Arts with Dr. Brammer. Dr. Brammer is teaching today. The students are doing their projects, so she is not here. Maurice Lockridge, if he will stand. Maurice is the new Assistant Chair of Faculty Senate and is the representative from the Lewis College of Business. Jennifer Sias is the new Recording Secretary and the Library representative to the Executive Committee. College of Education and Human Services, Janet Dozier. Janet's here, yes. COFA, College of Fine Arts, Jonathan Cox. College of Health Professions, Sandra Prunty. There she is. College of Science, Scott Serra. School of Medicine, Elaine Hardman. School of Journalism and Mass Communications, Bernice Morris. And from SITE is Wael Zatar. So congratulations to the new elected officers for next year. Thank you. At this time, I'd like to recognize the officers of the Executive Committee and the officers of standing committees and ad hoc committees. Okay? Dale, will you help with this? So I'll call them up, and if you'll do that, and if Dr. Kopp, and we'll put them all over there, I'll give you these. And then they can have a photo op as a group. Okay. The first person was not chairman of a committee for the Senate, but has certainly been a supporter of the Senate, and so a certificate goes to the provost, Dr. Denman. And if you all just come down, we'll take one photo together. Kenneth Geyer, Assistant Chair of the Executive Committee. Clayton Brooks, Recording Secretary of the Faculty Senate. Chuck Bailey, Chair of the Faculty Evaluation and Compensation Review Ad Hoc Committee, who worked all last summer as well. Wendy Moorhead, Secretary of the Faculty Evaluation and Compensation Review Ad Hoc Committee. Tim Balch, Secretary of the Core Foundations. Cheryl Brown, Chair of the Constitutional Ad Hoc Committee. Nat DeBruin, Secretary of the Constitutional Ad Hoc Committee. Susan Jackson, Chair of Academic Planning. Kathy Cheezick, Secretary of Academic Planning. Jennifer Mock, Chair of Athletics, the Athletic Committee. Ron Titus, Secretary of the Athletic Committee. Mark Slankard, Chair of the Budget and Academic Policy Committee. Sandra Mara, Secretary of the Budget and Academic Policy Committee. Brian Morgan, Chair of the Curriculum Committee. Linda Turner, Secretary of the Curriculum Committee. Majed Kader, Co-Chair of the Faculty Development Committee, along with Melinda Backus, Co-Chair of the Faculty Development. Darshana Shah, Secretary of Faculty Development. Camilla Brammer, Chair, Faculty... Oh, okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I was just moving it along since some of them weren't here, but that's not fair. That's not fair. Okay. Mary Catherine Gould, Secretary of the Faculty Personnel Committee. Rudy Wong, Chair of the Legislative Affairs. Pam Holland, Secretary of Legislative Affairs. Rob Raby, Chair of the Library Committee. Dreama Stringer, Secretary of the Library Committee. John Hubbard is here, Chair of the Physical Facilities and Planning Committee. The Secretary for that committee, Narissa Young. David Mallory, Chair of the Research Committee. Steve Maywalt, Secretary of the Research Committee. Bernice Morris, Chair of the Student Conduct and Welfare Committee. Ari Aloche, Secretary of Student Conduct and Welfare. Dale Schausch. Dale, you'll have to shake your own hand. Chair of the University Functions Committee. That's how he gets this great honor today. And Jennifer Sias, Secretary of the University Functions Committee. Okay. Now, do you need them in 2 rows or do they all fit? Very close together. Friendlier, even friendly. Thank you very much. I always have to mention how much we appreciate the work that the university committees do for the university. If you're familiar with the legislature, you know a lot of it is done in committee. And when you get to the floor of the Senate in Charleston, it's like like a auctioneer, you know, and you go, what happened? Okay. Now, believe me, when things come to the floor of the Senate, it may all get changed. So we now have, as I say, as Dr. Kopp said, we had over 500 years of collective experience are retiring today, okay? So I will call off the names, and if they will come down, Dale, do you have the certificates? Do I have the certificate? Are you sure you don't? Because they have different fronts. That's later. Okay, you have those. Okay, all right. Will the provost too come and shake their hand? And that's it. Then, yeah, I need you up here to tell me to slow down. That's it. Okay. They were in alphabetical order. I don't know whether they are. Okay. We can do it. Okay. Dr. Gary Anderson, chemistry. "27 years of experience to Marshall University." And get a photo op there too. Dr. Elaine Baker, psychology, 36 years of service, plus she has been the director of the Center for Teaching and Learning. And Dr. Baker refused to come because she's not into this retirement business. So that was her response. As I say, you've heard me tell this story before, but faculty, you have Dr. Baker to thank for your computers on your desk. When Dr. Gilley made the announcement that Marshall was one of the 100 best wired universities, Dr. Baker was chair of the Senate at that time, came to the podium and said, "But Dr. Gilley, your faculty do not have computers." But he took care of that. So, as I say, we have her to thank for that event. Dr. Robert Barnett, exercise science, sport, and recreation. "36 years of service to Marshall University." Dr. W. Blaker Bowling, management and marketing. "23 years of service to Marshall University." Dr. Stephen Cups, political science, 35 years of service. Dr. Robert Edmonds, communication studies, 27 years of service, and Bob is not here today either. Dr. Thomas Ellis, psychology, 6 years of service. He was unable to be here. Ms. Pamela Ford, librarian 3, 33 years of service to Marshall. Mr. Robert Forget, accountancy and legal environment, 18 years of service, was unable to be here. Dr. Ron Gain, biological science, 39 years of service. He was unable to be here. Dr. Mary Etta Height, biological science, 32 years of service. Thank you. Dr. Carl Johnson, School of Education, 33 years of service. Dr. John Larson, Chemistry, 40 years of service. Dr. John McKernan, 37 years of service in the English department. He was unable to be here. Dr. Charles Paley, Mathematics, 40 years of service. Oh, just Peel. Sorry. Dr. Charles Peel. Dr. Tony Williams, School of Education, 37 years of service. Okay, Dr. Gary Wright, Physiology, 29 years of service. He was unable to be here. Now, for serving 500 and some years, okay, they get more than a paper certificate, okay? That's what they were given today. But yes, they will be given a chair. They'll have their choice of a rocking chair or a captain's chair. Thank you. Or a gift certificate in the bookstore equivalent to the chair. So we thank those retiring faculty for all your years of service, and it scares us when we see how much wisdom is going out in 1 year. Okay, so we'll have to step up. We now go, if you look at your program, to the Faces of Appalachia Award, and that will be presented by Dr. Linda Spatic.
Good afternoon. As co-director, along with Dr. Chris Green of the Center for the Study of Ethnicity and Gender in Appalachia, or CSEGA, I'm here to announce the winner of the first annual Faces of Appalachia Fellowship. As some of you know, the origins of this award date back to about 6 years ago when CSEGA, in collaboration with the Appalachian Studies Association, which had just at that time moved its headquarters and journal here to Marshall University, received a National Endowment for the Humanities Challenge Grant, the purpose of which was to promote and disseminate scholarship on ethnicity and gender in Appalachia. Many people should be acknowledged for their contributions to that project throughout the past 6 or 7 years that are culminating in this award today. In the early years, Linda Ann Ewan, Shirley Lumpkin, Mary Thomas, later on Eddie Pendarvis, Francis Hensley, David Ice, Cat Williams, Len Mayer, Chris Green I mentioned, Monica Brooks, Eric Lassiter, many, many more. The deans of both the College of Liberal Arts and the College of Education and Human Services, and as much as any single individual, Dr. Sarah Denman has played an important role throughout by providing strong, unwavering support, encouragement, and at times direct assistance with everything from conceptualizing the initial grant proposal to raising money for the required NEH match. In recognition of her invaluable contributions to the work, the CSEGA Advisory Board decided to name the fellowship in her honor. It will henceforth be known as the Sarah Denman Faces of Appalachia Fellowship. Thank you, Sarah. The fellowship, which will be awarded on an annual basis, consists of a $3,000 stipend and 2 course reassignments for the academic year in which the research takes place. The fellow will then present the research publicly at a symposium the following spring semester. This year's 2008-09 Sarah Denman Faces of Appalachia Fellow, selected on the basis of her scholarship on the life and contributions of Bessie Woodson Yancey, sister of Carter G. Woodson, is Dr. Catherine Rodier.
Thank you very much. Now, all these honors, it's time to put her to work. Dr. Denman will now do the presentation of the Distinguished Service Awards.
Thank you. It is a lot easier to give than receive. But this is one of the finest awards to give, because it really recognizes people who have given in excess of 20 years of service to this institution, unwavering service in many areas. And I think the representatives this year are excellent examples and role models for all of us about what faculty are and what this institution receives every day from the wonderful faculty to inhabit our classrooms, our labs, our library, and support our students. It's just an unbelievable array that you're going to see here in just a few minutes. Bernice asked me how I wanted to present them, and I said, well, we might as well just do alphabetical order because everybody is fantastic and you don't want to put anybody ahead of the other. So we will begin alphabetical, and that would be Dr. Martin Americaner. Dr. Americaner is a professor of psychology and has been a faculty member at Marshall for 20 years since 1988. He served as the chair of psychology since 1992 and is stepping down as chair this year. But I think the thing that really defines one aspect of why he's getting the Distinguished Service Award this year is the leadership, unwavering leadership, that he provided to this institution, this Department of Psychology, and the citizens of West Virginia to make sure that we were able to secure, finally, a PsyD degree at Marshall University. This means not only just another doctoral program for the institution, but it meant a service to the citizens of this state who were underserved. And we knew that in the future it was going to be a requirement, and so many of our rural counties would not have the service, particularly in that area, that was needed. He was the one who pushed it and pushed it. I thought it was interesting that the nominator of this actually said he can be single-minded about pursuing goals. Well, let me tell you, if you've never been on this end of the single-mindedness, you don't quite know Marty the way we do. He can be single-minded, but thank goodness he was about the PsyD degree. He helped to push it to the point to where it was approved and it was implemented in 2002. And then to get it nationally accredited in 2006 was a monumental task, and he provided the leadership for a group of faculty who are incredible. And now the program has 35 students in the program today. It is growing. There is a team of full-time faculty, 16 of them, who dedicate themselves to making sure that the citizens will continue to receive the health care that they need. But, not just things in his department. He has served on many committees in the university, Graduate Council, the Research Committee, the Marshall and Shirley Reynolds Award Committee, the Cola Dean's Advisory Committee, and he also has many publications, and he has applied his skills in a very meaningful way outside the institution to make sure that people's health care was also a major priority. He not only talks the talk, he walks the walk. He has been on the Professional Advisory Board of the Prestera Center for Mental Health, a consultant to Children's Place Board of Directors, Executive Committee and President of Team for West Virginia Children, a trainer for Contact. He's currently a commissioner of the Huntington Human Relations Commission and president of the West Virginia Board of Examiners of Psychologists. He is an example of what's good about faculty and what's good about this institution. Dr. Martin Amerikaner. The next award recipient is Dr. C. Robert Barnett, who is getting the Distinguished Service Award here at Marshall University. He's been a part of Marshall University since 1972, and over those past 30 years, he's served in so many different capacities. He's been a professor, he's been a graduate program coordinator, he was a longtime chairperson to the division of HPER, now ESSR. We have to remember the acronyms. And in addition to all of those things, he also was the head wrestling coach for a while here at this institution and the university director of grants and the research department. So he's done all things that a faculty member, I guess, should be required to do. And, be physically fit and mentally fit. That's Bob. But he's very well known and very respected for his scholarship. He is a tremendous writer. He has published prolifically. His scholarly productivity has been, I think, a benchmark for everyone to look toward. He has won very prestigious awards, one being the Ray Duncan Award for West Virginia for Health and Physical Education, Recreation, and Dance. He has won numerous research awards. He has been the NCAA Rookie Coach of the Year. He's been the editor of the Encyclopedia of Appalachia, the Journal of Sports History, and the River Cities Monthly. But most recently, there was a retirement reception for Bob held here at the institution. And what was interesting is all those former wrestlers came home. And they talked about not just what they learned in the athletic arena from Bob, but what they learned in the classroom, what they learned from him about how to be a better person, how to be a student athlete, with student being the first word, and athlete being the second. Bob has been a tremendous mentor for many faculty in the College of Education and Human Services. He has shared his expertise about writing and research with all of us. Bob, we're going to miss you, but we're glad that you chose to stay with Marshall for a long time. Thank you. Now, there's a lady who knows her alphabet. She's already coming down. And she should, because her whole life has been about language and the acquisition and the restoration of language. Kathy Chizik is the next Distinguished Service Award winner. She has an unbelievable and superb record of service to this institution, but also to this community. She began her career here at Marshall more than 36 years ago, and she has been a guiding force in the leadership of the Communication Disorders program at this institution. She started in 1971 and has been a long-standing, and I quote your nomination, a well-loved department chair. I think that's probably a big honor, Kathy. But she has also served this institution because she has been on several large university committees, the Commencement Committee, Athletic Certification Committee, Grade Appeal Hearing Panel, Enrollment Management Committees, Graduate Education, and she was a former chair of the Faculty Senate in the very early days of the Faculty Senate. and currently is a member of a very kind of prestigious group called the Board of Ex-Faculty Senate Presidents. It's a very elite group. Only a few can get in. But when she has her free time, and I use that word loosely, she is also a volunteer for Help for Animals in the Children's Leukemia Society. But I think the true leadership that you see from Kathy is how the department has expanded under her leadership, the new aspects of the delivery that they give, the learning lab that's the Luke Lee Listening, Language, and Learning Lab. Conveniently for us, they call it the L. And it focuses on preschool children that are deaf, assisting them to be totally prepared to be successfully enrolled in regular classrooms by the time they're 5 years old. This is the first auditory oral preschool program in the state, and Kathy worked tirelessly with her faculty to bring this about. She also has established a wonderful relationship with the Scottish Rite group, and they give generously to this institution and to that program to make sure that children will have access to clinics and to professional people who can take care of them in a clinic that has a sliding scale and doesn't turn children away. She has been a leader in education. She's been a leader in service to this institution. But her legacy will be all of the children who are successful because of what her leadership provided in communication disorders. Kathy Giesig. Oh, wow. You get more than just a plaque. That must be part of that well-loved department chair bit. The next winner of the Distinguished Service Award, and I'm really excited because until I saw the program today, I did not know what your middle name was. 2008. He has done a tremendous job, not only and when I get to it in a moment, beyond that, the region and the nation, and I would say even internationally. Let me run a little bit of Ron's background for you. He's been a faculty member either with the West Virginia Graduate College or Marshall since 1975. He was dean of the School of Education at the Graduate College from 86 to 89. He was program director for elementary and secondary ed there from 96 to 98. He was vice president of graduate studies from 99 to 2006 and dean of the Graduate School of Education and Professional Development from 99 to 2006. I will say here on a personal note that the successful merger of the Graduate College and Marshall University would not have happened had it not been for the leadership, the compassion, and the patience of Dr. Ron Childress. He developed and has directed grants in excess of $600,000 over the past 12 years, co-authored numerous articles, has made in excess of 60 presentations nationally and internationally. He is co-director, has been, of a $2.1 million grant with the IBM grant in conjunction with the Department of Ed, and has chaired numerous doctoral dissertations. These are just a few of the things that he has done for us over the past 3 decades. But more than that, it's his expertise as an educator, and particularly with NCATE and certification. He is called upon regularly by our State Department of Education, by the Higher Ed Policy Commission, and is sent all around the state and around the country, and is considered one of the foremost experts with NCATE today. It certainly helped us on several times. But I will tell you, he's a very humble member of this academic community. He does not seek recognition, and I can tell you that those who nominated him knew that it would take a nomination to cause us to know more about Ronald Berry Childress, who fully deserves to be a Distinguished Service Award winner we are better for his coming to us. Thank you. The next winner is Dr. Stan Maynard for the Distinguished Service Award this year also. I think, Stan, if we think of anything with you, we think of two things. I think of students in Southern West Virginia and his passion, I think, for students, and particularly those who do not have the chance. I gave a talk at the HELP Advisory Board meeting about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I said, I think the thing that defines the HELP program, and I would also say today defines Stan Maynard, is that the HELP program takes a chance to give a chance. I think that defines your life, Stan. He has taken chances with people, with students, with faculty, with communities in order to give a chance for education. He is the director of the 21st Century Academy. He is helping us to develop a STEM academy here at this institution. He's the director of the Model School Project for the West Virginia Department of Education, a consultant with 7 counties and local schools, consulting on reading, science, leadership, and community involvement initiatives. He is the host of a weekly radio broadcast called Voices from the Village and focuses on the positive contribution of the lives of people. He's the director of the June Harless Center for the Rural Education Research and Development. He's a consultant with the West Virginia Department of Education. His effective school model has gone beyond the borders of this country and to the Dominican Republic, once again looking out to where there is a need and meeting that need. And that effective school model represents not only this institution, but I think the love that he has for children. He's helped to secure over $5 million in money for Marshall and local school districts. He's served on so many committees, college, university, community. It would be too much to even begin to list them here. But so many of them, he was the founding member of those committees. I would quote part of his nominator's sentence that says, Stan Maynard exemplifies the highest degree of professionalism, commitment, and dedication. I would add one more thing to that. No matter what he does, what he says, at the heart of everything for him is love for children. Thank you. Moving along alphabetically, the next winner of the Distinguished Service Award is Dr. Tony Williams. And this is Tony's last semester as he concludes a 38-year career at Marshall University. He has served in many roles. He's been a professor. He's been the interim dean of the College of Education and Human Services for 3.5 years. His outstanding leadership during this period guided the college through budget cuts, curriculum reform, and a very successful NCADE accreditation. He's also served on many committees. He's been the Associate Dean for Academic Programs in the college. He's been the Assistant Graduate Dean. He's been the Associate Dean for Student Services in the college. He's been the Division Chair for Education Leadership, Assistant Chair for the School of Ed, and Program Coordinator. He is also an outstanding teacher. His students always, his evaluations say what a wonderful teacher he was. And not to make him appear that he's been teaching any longer than the 38 years here at Marshall, but I can speak from personal experience because, you see, Dr. Tony Williams was my 10th grade world history teacher. And he was great. He was very young. He was a prodigy. But I can tell you, he cared about students then, and he made us love world history, which I'm sorry, Francis, but you know, it was hard. We were 16. He's published numerous papers and books, and he has also authored 2 West Virginia Studies textbooks that are used by over 100,000 students in the public schools of West Virginia. And that not only celebrates his scholarship and his knowledge, but it celebrates this institution. It tells people about the good things that happen at Marshall, and it keeps our name out there. Once again, he is a man who has tremendous levels of giving, and he has given those gifts to Marshall through his service, through his teaching, through his research. All of that has benefited us and continues to benefit the children of West Virginia through the public schools. Tony Williams. The last winner is Dr. Gary Wright from the School of Medicine. I will tell you, I'm sorry Tony isn't here today, and I hope that Dr. McCown will accept this award. Gary? Tony, sorry, Gary Wright. But Dr. McCown, I hope you'll accept it on his behalf. But this institution, and particularly the School of Medicine and the College of Science, owe a huge, huge debt to Dr. Gary Wright. He is the one who was pushing research. And in our first doctoral program, the biomedical PhD program, he was so significant in that. He came to Marshall in 1979. He was the principal investigator for the NSF EPSCoR cell regulation project that brought in millions of dollars of research in the early 90s. That was a first for this institution. It was not something that we had had before. He changed the profile of this institution forever by having people from the outside actually look at us as a research institution, as a place where scholarship was celebrated. He has been mentoring and working with doctoral students ever since. He helped to pioneer so many of our research policies and procedures here at this institution. He was chair of physiology since 1987. That's 21 years as chair. That's a lot of commitment of time, and that's a lot of commitment of energy. He's also been on the Graduate Studies Committee, Animal Care, and the Dean's Advisory Committee. He has chaired more doctoral dissertations than anyone will or possibly ever chair at this institution. He has helped more students to achieve their goals, and he was always there with them. It was interesting that when he was described by some of his students, they said Dr. Wright is a harsh taskmaster with a heart of gold, and he has guided us, he has mentored us, but he developed us into first-rate researchers. He set the benchmark for all of us, and he put us on a pathway that we are still pursuing in an upward spiral. He, in a sense, set the gold standard for us in terms of research and scholarship. Very few of us in our lives will be able to catch him, but I will guarantee you that if Gary were here today, he would say that the best thing about everything he has done is that his legacy will live on in the students who had him and went on to be researchers and to mentor other students. Dr. Gary Wright.
Dr. Denman's such a good speaker. So we don't have to worry about her retirement. She'll be able to sell swampland, used cars, whatever she wants to do. But we do have one mistake that Dr. Hensley would like to correct.
Get back up here, Denman. I was going to say Sarah Yes, you're suffering for that. I was going to say that Sarah forgot something, but you know, Sarah never forgets anything. So this is a surprise for Sarah. And I'm just going to read the letter from the deans. Dear Dr. Kopp, we're pleased to nominate Dr. Sarah Denman for the Marshall University Distinguished Service Award. Dr. Denman is one of the most outstanding assets that Marshall University has, and she has been since she started her undergraduate career here in 1966. She went on to complete advanced degrees at Marshall, including the joint WVU-MU EDD degree in 1986. She began teaching in the community college in 1975 and has been continuously employed by Marshall since that time, serving in a variety of roles. Dr. Denman will retire this spring after serving most recently as Provost and Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs. Marshall University has not had a more dedicated servant than Sarah Denman, and there's not much that she has not done here at Marshall. She has served on numerous university committees and has represented Marshall on a variety of statewide committees and task forces. She has provided invaluable leadership on many important initiatives while serving as a faculty member and administrator, and has done as much as anyone to help shape Marshall into the institution it is today. Those who know Dr. Denman can testify to the fact that she is willing to go anywhere, anytime, to support and promote Marshall's programs. She is among the best and most articulate spokesperson that the university has. She didn't even get to give her own speech. And she can be seen working on projects, going on trips to support the university, or appearing at events to promote the university 364 days a year, 12 hours a day or more. And that's actually true. Her record as a faculty advocate, supporter, and mentor is unique. There's so many faculty, both on board and retired, who count her not just as a valued colleague, but as a friend. She has the unusual ability to work across disciplines, to understand them, to recognize faculty strengths, and to promote them. But it is her service to students that perhaps most distinguishes this remarkable woman's career in higher education. Sarah Denman is simply the strongest student advocate on campus. Her dedication to student success is best characterized by her devotion to the first-year experience and making sure that the university provides every possible opportunity for students to be successful. She recognizes with keen sensitivity the difficulties many students face in making the transition from high school to college, and she has given countless hours and efforts to help shape student services, academic experiences, and extracurricular activities in ways that support student learning while also creating a supportive and nurturing living environment for first-year Marshall students. I would have to add that that includes teaching a section of Uni 101 every fall since the course started. It would be easy to say that this is what any provost and academic vice president should do, particularly since the quality of the first-year experience is vital to retention and numbers. But for Sarah Denman, the true motivation comes from her love for young people and her overwhelming desire to see them succeed. Helping ensure that success and knowing that she can help enrich the lives of our students is what drives her. Moreover, her attention to students does not waver after the first year. She continues to remain actively engaged in the lives of students throughout their undergraduate experiences, and she's always there and available for support and encouragement. The truth is, that is what distinguishes Sarah Denman from many. This nomination could go on for pages, and if necessary, would. Not really. However, we believe that it is abundantly clear that no one is more deserving of the Marshall University Distinguished Service Award than Sarah Denman. Those of us signing this nomination letter are the people who have worked most closely with her in recent years, and we are all honored to have been part of the team of people she has assembled to help with her life's work. Her life's work is all about Marshall University, and this is a much better place for the grace, dignity, and humanity Sarah has brought to this institution, and it is signed by all of the deans. Thank you.
This is very short. This is from the Faculty
Just want
Senate.
to say that this check will go to the library.
To the library. Well, she sat down now. This is a present from the Faculty Senate for all of her support. When you get to be retirement age, it's not good to have to get up and down so often. So, congratulations.
Well, thank you, Larry.
Dean Deutsch will present the Outstanding Graduate Advisor Award. There he is.
And there I am. Tom, would you please come forward? Tom Pauley, because probably people don't see him very much. He spends so much time out in the fields as a field biologist, you may not have seen him here that often. At any rate, the Graduate Council has a committee, and they solicited nominations for outstanding graduate advising, and that consists of that dimension of the job that goes beyond teaching in the classroom and beyond research and published scholarship. It extends to all those other things, all that mentoring, that one-on-one with students. And there were two people who won the award. One cannot be here. They're both Toms. One is Tom Hankins, and he is from the South Charleston campus, and he wrote, "Wow, this is a surprise. Unfortunately, I will be at a student's comprehensive project evaluation in South Charleston at 2 p.m. and apologize for not being at the meeting. Already I was feeling conflicted because I would not be there to congratulate my retiring colleagues. I hope my absence does not suggest indifference toward this award because I'm very honored to receive it." So that was Tom Hankins. And for the Huntington campus, we have Tom Pauley. Let me just show him this award. There is a $1,000 check here, which isn't in the envelope yet. But here you go, Tom. Been long. It's always in the mail. At any rate, Tom, when I meet students, Tom students, what impresses me is that they come from all over the country. Here's a student from California. Here's one from New York State. Here's one from North Carolina. And I say, "What are you doing here at Marshall? How did you find us?" Well, either a faculty member has recommended him, or they've Googled and they come up with 5 or 6 of the top names in herpetology in the United States, and he's one of them, and they email him. And I say, "Well, there were 5 or 6 or 4 or 5 others. Why did you pick Marshall University?" Because Dr. Pauley responded to my email. He called me. He showed a real personal interest in having me come to Marshall University. And when they get here, they go to conferences. He has a good group going to the Association of Southern Biologists, a whole group. And consistently, year after year, the number of students who receive the summer thesis grants, his students always dominate, and out of the 100 or so awards we've given over the past summers, I would venture to guess that maybe close to half of them are Tom Pauley's students. So he has done a magnificent job, and we are very proud to present this plaque for outstanding graduate advising, Tom Pauley.
Get a picture. Get a picture. Dr. Pauley, get your photo op. The Distinguished Artists and Scholars Award will be presented by Dr. Venkat Gudavada.
On behalf of the Marshall University Distinguished Artists and Scholars Awards Committee, known as MUDASA, it is my pleasure to present to you this year's MUDASA winners. These awards are given to faculty for their excellence in scholarly and research activities. This award is given in 3 categories. The first category is a senior category in sciences and technology. This year's award the committee has selected Dr. Yoram Elitzer for the senior category award in sciences and technology. Dr. Elister is a graduate of Hadassah Medical School at the Hebrew University in Jerusalem, Israel. He completed 5 years of pediatric residency in Soroka Medical Center at Ben Gurion University in 1984. Dr. Elister came to U.S. in July 1985 for pediatric GI fellowship in Children's Hospital of Buffalo, State University of New York at Buffalo, New York. At the time, he got interested in research on gut immunology, which he continued after his graduation from Buffalo. He went on to accept another fellowship position in adult gastroenterology department at Wayne State University, Detroit, Michigan. During this period, Dr. Elister has published several papers in the emerging field of immunology. In July 1990, he came to Marshall University as the director of pediatric gastroenterology at Marshall University School of Medicine. He became a full professor in 1994. His initial goal in his current position was to serve the pediatric patient population with his expertise, a subspecialty that at the time was not available in the entire state of West Virginia. At the same time, he continued his basic research in gut immunology with application to the pediatric field. His subsequent research concentrated on clinical diseases in children. His main topic was Helicobacter pylori in children, a disease that was very common among our patients at that period of time. In addition, he continued to educate MU School of Medicine medical students and pediatric residents in the state of in the art of academic medicine, and was still continue to take a significant part in their decision to continue on with their studies to achieve their medical aspiration, including fellowship and research career. The effort of 4 departments and close mentoring of faculty have been rewarded and acknowledged by the different programs the residents have chosen for their career. Dr. Elister finds it very important to help the community by bringing awareness of the common diseases that have been neglected. Several events have been planned in this direction, and the response of the community has been very positive. All these activities are supported by his department and his chairperson, Professor Joe Wertheimer. Please recognize this year's Marshall University Distinguished Artists and Scholars Award winner in the Sciences and Technology Senior category, Dr. Yoram Elister. So the second category of award is in arts, sciences, social sciences, humanities, education, and business. This year, the MU DASA committee has selected Dr. William Palmer for the senior category award. Dr. Palmer earned his PhD degree from the University of Maine in 1981. He came to Marshall University in 1984 and currently serves as a professor of history. Since 1993, Dr. Palmer has published 3 books. The first book, The Political Career of Oliver St. John, published in 1993, concerned the career of Oliver St. John, a leading figure in the English Revolution of 1640. The second book, The Problem of Ireland and Tudor Foreign Policy, published the following year, addressed some of the reasons behind the English conquest of Ireland in the 16th century. His third book, Engagement with the Past, the lives and the works of the World War II generation of historians, published in 2001, studied the personal backgrounds and educational experiences of a group of historians from Great Britain and the United States born between about 1908 and 1922. The group formed a generational cohort, and almost all of them were affected in some way by the Great Depression and World War II. One reviewer called it a landmark book. He has recently completed a 4th book which studies the rise of the history departments as a professional body. Dr. Palmer has also published over 20 articles in scholarly journals on topics ranging from the English Revolution of 1640, Thomas More, Edmund Burke, and the French Revolution, the roles of gender and honor in Irish rebellions, the Enlightenment, and on historians. The journals in which he has published include some of the best in the discipline, such as the Journal of British Studies, the Historian, the Renaissance Quarterly, the 18th Century Theory and Interpretation, the South Atlantic Quarterly, the 16th Century Journal, the Journal of the Historical Society, and the Virginia Quarterly Review. It might also be noted that he does not neglect teaching. In fact, in 1997, he has won the Reynolds Award for his outstanding teaching. Please recognize this year's Marshall University Distinguished Artists and Scholars Award winner in the Arts, Science, Social Sciences, Humanities, Education, and Business Senior category, Dr. William Palmer. So lastly, the third category is open to junior faculty. For this year's junior award, the committee has selected Dr. Rhonda Sturgill. Dr. Sturgill earned her PhD degree from the University of Alabama at Tuscaloosa in 2003. Her specialty is in health education and health promotion. She came to Marshall University in 2004. Currently, she serves as an assistant professor and teaches courses in athletics training. During her 4 years at Marshall University, Rhonda has presented at international, regional, statewide, and local professional meetings. She also had several scholarly publications. She has worked as an evaluator and used her research skills to assist community organizations in evaluating their programs and then presented the results of the research at professional meetings. Please recognize this year's Marshall University Distinguished Artists and Scholars Award winner in the junior category, Dr. Rhonda Sturgill.
Professor Karen Bailey will present the Pickens Queen Teaching Award.
Hi. It's my honor to be here today to present these prestigious awards to three very deserving faculty. Through a gift from Glenn and Carol Queen and Ethel Pickens, these awards were established to recognize the importance placed on teaching at Marshall University and to provide incentive for the teaching achievement by newer faculty members. It's been said that the expert in anything was once a beginner, but these award-winning faculty are certainly anything but experts in their field. Boy, that came out wrong. Well, gee. The process for selection of these three junior faculty members for the Pickens Queen Awards is a two-level process, and there was a host of extraordinary candidates this year. From that, a 14-member committee selected 6 finalists, and from those 6 finalists, we did select the top 3. Truly, you are exemplary. It is my distinct pleasure to announce this year's winners, and the winners will be presented cash awards of $1,000 each and will receive release time as a part of their award, and also a plaque and a medallion to be recognized for their exemplary teaching. First, I'd like to recognize Dr. Del Kroll. Hi. Dr. Kroll is an assistant professor in the classics department. His ability to engage students with his quick wit and ability to bring popular culture into the classroom to capture this young audience was amazing. One committee member wrote, "This was the first time I attended a college class and felt totally lost the minute I walked in." He was teaching Latin. However, his mastery and fluidity of the language kept his students at ease and sparked a beautiful discussion of Cicero. He has a wonderful voice and sense of humor that keeps his students locked into the discussions, and one member wrote, "He teaches with ease, uses humor and an easygoing mannerism to present material that is difficult to understand in a unique way that allows the students to internalize the turmoil of the era and try to understand how people lived and survived in those times." His ability to both capture and captivate his students make him this year's choice for Pickens Queen. Dr. Kroll. Go ahead. Thanks. Dr. Phil Rutherford. Dr. Rutherford is an assistant professor in the Department of History. He has the ability to teach history in a way that ties to the future, which is enlightening and intriguing to his young students. Dr. Rutherford used a relaxed and open environment to facilitate his delivery of material. One committee member wrote, "This is an excellent classroom environment. The students are confident in stating their opinions and assuming leadership in discussions. He expected and received excellent student involvement." Another wrote, "I believe this unique classroom is based on the concept of a safe learning environment. Despite the youth of the group, they participated and freely offered their opinions and thoughts. Genuine interest was there in both the student learning and the professor. These are the marks of a great teacher and the reason that he was chosen as this year's winner." Dr. David Winter. Dr. Winter is an assistant professor in the Department of History. One committee member wrote, "Dr. Winter is truly passionate about what he teaches. He hit the floor running with such fervor that I could tell from the beginning that this man was a true teacher. He has an easy rapport with his students and arrives early to teach and chat with them. He quickly puts the students at ease, is organized, and uses his talents to lead the students in discussion. The students are very prepared and eager to participate." One committee member commented, he is an exceptionally good teacher. He has excellent rapport with his students and has an extraordinary ability to facilitate learning in a non-threatening environment. Another stated, "He is so easy to listen to, it made me want to take his class." The marks of a true teacher, his rapport, ability to listen, lead, excite, and facilitate learning in a comfortable environment make Dr. Winter this year's selection. Dr. Winter. Okay.
Dr. Karen Mitchell will present the Reynolds Outstanding Teacher Award.
The Marshall and Shirley Reynolds Outstanding Teacher Award is the oldest of the faculty awards. It's given to senior faculty for outstanding teaching, but it is for much more than that. This award is determined by a 12-committee member group. They must do a great deal of work, and the candidates all have to be incredibly patient because this takes an entire year to make the determination. During the first semester, we look at teacher portfolios, we look at student evaluations, we take a relatively large group and reduce it to the final candidates, and then in the spring semester, the candidates are all visited by 12 committee members. Sometimes there are more of us in the classroom than there are students. And so we have all this opportunity to talk to department members, we talk to students. The evaluation process is extensive. So the candidates, the good news for the university is it's always a difficult choice. We always have extraordinary candidates to choose from. And this year was not the exception. We had an excellent pool to choose from. Dr. Putlow Cody is this year's winner. She probably should have won the award long ago. She's an extraordinary teacher who receives rave notices from her students. Not only that she's willing to help them in the classroom, but she's willing to help them outside the classroom as well. She mentors other faculty. She clearly another representative from the math department. I was preparing to teach a math history course, a course I'd never taught before, and I asked Evelyn if she had any materials. Well, that usually means someone will arrive with 1 or 2 books. She arrived with boxes. It took 3 trips for her to bring me all of the materials that she had. This is not uncommon for her. I don't know how she finds time for all the contributions that she makes to other faculty members, to students, to the department. She develops courses. She works on improving existing courses. She serves on committees. She's involved in so many aspects of the department. her primary concern is to meet the needs of her students and to find ways to improve and support the work of the department. A prime example of that is when I went to her and I said, what would you like included in this introduction? The one thing she said that she wanted me to say is that Doctors Lancaster, Mitchell, Cusick, Lawrence, and now Puplo-Cody have all won the Reynolds Award, making the math department the department who's received 5 of these awards, more than any other department, college, or division on campus. So again, an example of her generosity. This is the word that comes to mind most often when I'm attempting to describe her. Her generosity with her time and her effort and her expertise to make mathematics education here on Marshall's campus the best it can be. Please help me in recognizing Evelyn Puplo-Cody, this year's winner of the award.
Dr. Dallas Brozek will present the Hedrick Outstanding Faculty Award.
Before we get started here, Sarah, I think we'd all like to congratulate you on all of the various awards you've been getting, but I have to admit a little bit of jealousy. You have a whole day of Huntington to yourself. The most the rest of us can expect is a day in court. I'm embarrassed. Well, there goes that one. She knows us too well. I know I'm speaking to the choir here, but this business of being a university professor is an absolute art. We have to balance things like teaching and research and service. Now, while we have awards that have just gone before that will have recognized those who have excelled in one of these areas, and that's really a big deal in itself, really. All these winners, congratulations. The Charles E. Hedrick Outstanding Faculty Award is the one that's given to the best juggler, the one who can do it all. This year's winner is Dr. David Mills. Now, Dr. Mills, in the applications that were submitted to all of us, and just as with the Reynolds Award, we go through a vetting procedure, we visit the classes. And I was looking over some of the details just the other day, and take a look at the teaching aspect of it. His syllabi are some of the best constructed syllabi I've ever seen. Students actually really know what's going to happen. And when we saw him teach in class, he delivered on that. One of the other things that I was impressed by was that if you take a look at the student evaluations, and we all have our opinion of student evaluations, there are a couple questions on there that really do shed some enlightenment. The one that I look for is the one sort of towards the end, and it says, as a student, would you recommend this teacher to another student? And you get to those two areas, strongly agree and agree, and he was batting like 90 and 100% at all times. So the students have made their voices heard. When it comes to research, he has, I could list them, he has peer-reviewed articles, he's done the presentations, he's been there, he's done that, and he impressed the committee. When it comes to service, he is currently serving as the interim chair of the history department. He has half a dozen other committee university and college committees under his belt. He's got half a dozen or so division or department committees under his belt. He's really has done it all. And so it is my great pleasure to introduce Dr. David Mills as this year's winner of the Charles E. Hedrick Outstanding Faculty Award.
Well, I thought of having the day declared after Dr. Dimon, but I didn't think about having her arrested. You see, that would have been interesting, and then you could pay money to get her back out of jail and give it to the library. So we call Sarah to the stand one more time. Presentation of the Faculty Merit Foundation of the West Virginia Professor of the Year Award.
I do think, though, that when your husband is the president of the State American Civil Liberties Union, that you might get out of jail a little quicker. It is with great honor that I get to make this award known to you this year. We don't get to make this award every year. In fact, we haven't been able to announce this award for a long, long time. There's been only one other winner of this award from Marshall University, Dr. Robert Walker. But I will tell you how thrilled we are at Marshall University this year that the West Virginia Merit Foundation Professor of the Year was Dr. Montserrat Miller from the History Department at Marshall University. When I wrote a letter of nomination for her, it was an easy letter to write in one way, but a difficult letter to write in another. How do you tell in a letter all the wonderful things about a person who represents what's best about our profession, what we do every day of our lives? She is a teacher, she's an advisor, and she's a scholar. And I think she epitomizes the term the teacher-scholar because she does them both almost effortlessly. She is very inspirational to her students, and they were very quick to tell us this. In the classroom, a student never feels belittled or devalued, or that they don't quite know enough to be here, because she understands what it means to be a first-generation student, and that our students bring so much to the classroom that causes their journey to be so difficult. And she works very hard to make their journey successful. She embraces every student's ability to achieve and to learn, but she never lowers her standards. She works hard, and she expects her students to work hard, and they achieve for her and for the love of learning. She has written so many articles. She is a well-known presenter of her scholarship, not only in this country, but on an international level as well. She has a book about feeding Barcelona, the market halls, social networks, and consumer culture from 1714 to 1975 that is currently under consideration for publication. She's been a Fulbright Scholar. She's been a National Endowment for the Humanities Summer Fellow. She's been a West Virginia Humanities Fellowship winner and was the Drinko Scholar at Marshall from 96 to 99. This award that she has won speaks volumes about what she believes is her life's calling. But I believe if you were to ask Montserrat Miller today, how does she want to be remembered? It will not be for the publications. It will not be for a book. It will not be for an award. What it will be is for the legacy that will live in students who understand the importance of learning and the love of education and the belief that you can be anything you want to be if you work hard enough. If we all had that legacy, what a different world this would be that we are leaving. Montserrat leaves this with every student who passes through her classroom. We are better people for knowing her, and those students are better citizens for having been able to spend some time in her presence. Dr. Montserrat Miller. Thank you so much. Get your picture.
Yeah.
Now, the Dr. and Mrs. Stickler Plant Award, okay, which are part of the scenery up here, one goes to Bernice Bullock, the Secretary and Faculty Senate. Now, she's the constant in there, okay, because the chair has 6 hours of reassigned time, so they also have other duties. So when you call, she's the one you talk to. She's the one you get the email messages from. So I appreciate her work of trying to keep. Now, she hasn't been able to keep me neat, but she has gotten me organized. The other plan is for Dr. Denman for supporting us during my tenure in Faculty Senate and also when I was Dean of Governor's School for the Arts. Thank you very much. We want to thank Sue Tams for doing our PowerPoint presentation. Thank you, Sue. James Morris Smith, Deb Carter Dean, Kevin Bannon for the theater presentation here. Thank you very much. Dr. Kopp in the President's office for our reception. I'm sorry the meeting took so long, but this is my favorite meeting because it's all about faculty awards and achievement, and that's outstanding. It's been a pleasure to serve and represent the outstanding faculty at Marshall. Please look at the poster of the retirees in the lobby, and the award plaques are there with the names already on them. So Bernice is really efficient. Okay, we are adjourned. Thank you very much.